Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, just in time for holiday shopping, Amazon is taking a big step into 30 minutes or less delivery. Airbnb wants you to rent your house out during the World Cup. And the Washington State Patrol isn't trying to be grinchy, but please don't wrap your car in holiday lights. Weekly podcast host Rachel Horgan and UW marketing chair Jeff Shulman are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. Washington's entire congressional delegation is asking the federal government to issue an expedited emergency declaration due to this week's major flooding. The letter was signed by both Washington senators and every member of the state's U.S. House delegation, including Washington's 2 Republicans. The emergency declaration allows the federal government to assist with debris removal and other remediation. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson made the request to the president Wednesday night. Meanwhile, Washington Senator Maria Cantwell is concerned about the readiness of the National Weather Service. The Trump administration fired some National Weather Service workers earlier this year. Hundreds more resigned. Cantwell's requested an oversight hearing. She says the cuts have put Americans in danger, especially in the face of extreme weather. This summer, the National Weather Service got a special exemption to hire 450 mission-critical positions. Cantwell is calling for the oversight hearing to shed some light on the rebuilding process. And Wild Waves in Federal Way says the 2026 season will be its last. The owners say rising operational costs since the park reopened post-COVID have left them with millions of dollars in losses. The theme park employs 35 full-time workers, 800 seasonal employees. Plan ahead for your last slides with a view of the highway. The final season opens May 23rd and closes for good November 1st next year. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again. We're recording this as parts of our region are dealing with historic, catastrophic flooding. I hope that you and your loved ones, your pets, and your livestock are safe and dry right now. Rachel Horgan is here. She's the host of the weekly podcast all about business here in Seattle. Rachel, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, I'm honored to have the call back. Thank you.
All right. The second time back,
That's right.
You know you've done it. You've done it. Jeff Shulman's here, too. He's the chair of marketing and international business at UW's Foster School of Business. Fancy title, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Okay, you two, before we dive in, it's the holidays, and some people really love to get into the spirit. This week, the Washington State Patrol is requesting that you resist the urge to wrap your car in lights. State Patrol says they're not trying to be grinchy. It's just illegal. Some of us on the Seattle Now team have seen 1 or 2 cars around town wrapped like this. Do either of you appreciate a festive vehicle? What kind of person does this?
I don't mind a little reindeer ears or a little nose on the front, but I do think this is taking it too far. And I was thinking, like, who does this? And I can't decide if it's the same people that lift their trucks or if it's Disney adults or if it's just some weird Venn diagram of both. But I don't know. I've not seen it. What about you, Jeff?
I saw it coming out of the University of Washington.
You did?
And I appreciated the festive spirit, and I did actually wonder who drives it. And I was thinking that they were up to criminal trouble, that was to distract. Like, you can't see their face, you can't see the license plate. So it seemed like mischief.
I appreciate the lights all over the vehicle, but the Washington State Patrol says you can't do this. It's aftermarket lighting, distracting and non-compliant, apparently, with the law. I have to ask, though, if it's more distracting or dangerous than someone who drives without their headlights on in the winter, which I also see all the time around here, or people who drive with their high beams on.
Oh, the high beams are the worst. It's just blinding.
You do the little flicky when you see somebody without their headlights on?
Yeah, of course.
Do they listen? Because I have never been successful.
Maybe I see the best in people, but I genuinely think they just don't know that their lights aren't on because there's
It's dark.
all the other lights. I don't know. But I don't know if it's more or less distracting. I think it's all bad. But it was reminding me of how we all thought, like, our parents gaslit us into thinking it was illegal to turn the inside light on. And then you, like, get older and you're like, wait, I can do this.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, I guess it's not illegal. I don't think so.
You looked that up? Are we fact-checking or are we
Actually,
spreading
yeah.
misinformation?
Honestly,
Can we
I'm not sure about that because I, too, grew up with that.
Same. Parents like, you can't do that, not while driving.
All right,
let's check that.
Get in touch, State Patrol. All right, moving on to the big story of the week, just in time for holiday shopping. Amazon says it's testing a new 30-minute or less delivery service in Seattle and Philadelphia. They're calling it Amazon Now, And we on Seattle Now would just like to say, hey, man, step back. No, I actually need to tell you that depending on your algorithm, Amazon may pop up as an advertiser on this show. Seriously, though, what does it say about the company right now that they're doing this 30-minute delivery? Is this just the next step in the evolution for the company from a few days to the next day to the same day to 30 minutes? What are we dealing with here?
Do we need it in 30 minutes?
This is the bigger question, Rachel.
Well, that's why it's not offered to everybody. So they're pricing it so that only if you actually need it for 30 minutes will you get that delivery service.
Really? You think so?
Well, I guess maybe
$3.99 is not
maybe
$4 is not a deal breaker, right? Is it?
For some, it is actually.
Perhaps it could be.
Yeah, I think what was missing in this article was comparing it to the rising costs of delivery apps. So there might be an entryway because Seattle's the highest for DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff. So maybe I would go to Amazon to get my groceries. I kept going back to food. Like I can't think of what would I need in 30 minutes. Like I don't know, the motivation to do my job maybe, but like what's Amazon going to deliver in 30 minutes that's not food? So that's where I kind of kept going back to, and there could be a market for that.
I have to geek out with my pricing knowledge because I used to teach pricing at UW-Foster. Yeah. And the biggest difference in behavior is from 0 to 1 penny.
What?
So $3.99 isn't that much, but most people will do things for free that they would never do if it even cost a penny. There's a huge, what's called a penny gap. So charging for it is trying to screen who's going to use it. And then the second phrase I always have is when the buyer is impatient, the seller has the power. And so when you need something in 30 minutes, I mean, that price is $3.99 now to get people realizing how convenient it is when they need something for 30 minutes. But it would only go up because when somebody needs something in 30 minutes or less and can't get it otherwise, Amazon would have them. They'd be able to price whatever they want.
So this is for groceries and other household items like diapers and pet treats and over-the-counter medications, which, you know, of course, if you have a cold, maybe 30 minutes or less sounds pretty darn good for some Theraflu. $13.99, by the way, if you don't have Prime. And that pricing thing is sticking with me a little bit because I recently, my hot water heater went out. And you know...
Oh, yeah. You're impatient. Very impatient.
I paid for that.
Absolutely.
I paid for that, Jeff. I paid for that. Prime and next day delivery are very popular, so... what would make this fee worth it? What kind of things would you want to get in 30 minutes or less? Like cold medicine, maybe diapers.
Toilet paper, if you don't have that.
Ooh.
Oh, shampoo, if you didn't plan ahead. Yeah, maybe some of that. I work in events, and when we have large conferences for thousands of people, we have somebody in their title or job title is errand runner.
Really?
So, because we're on site, we need another easel, we need a power cord, and we need whatever it may be. So I could see that, but there's limited items, right? So what I need is probably not going to be on this Amazon now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have been kind of hosed by this by Amazon. To be honest, my in-bird thermometer, like my little thermopen for my turkey, died on me like a week before Thanksgiving. And I kind of was thinking to myself, oh, I'll just go on Amazon, get the next day Prime delivery. Well, guess what didn't show up until well after my turkey was cooked.
Very helpful then, right?
So if I was in that zone, I would have asked for my $3.99 back. Is this something you could see catching on? Are there enough disorganized, need it right now, I don't care if I pay for it people out there?
I think there's plenty of situations where we are all, I need it right now. And it's always due to poor planning or something happened that you weren't expecting. But, you know, you make that recipe and miss one ingredient. Do you want to go to the store or do you want to keep cooking and have it delivered while you're finishing it up?
Yeah, I could see that. I think I go into logistics. I'm like, how is this happening? Because you must have to have so many different locations because it takes 15, 20 minutes to get anywhere in Seattle. And then they said they're going to be gig workers, not Amazon cars. It's their own car. So are they lined up like taxis at the airport, just like, give me the box. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think Instacart is really valuable. Like if I'm at an Airbnb on vacation, I get my groceries delivered. When I had COVID, I wanted some food.
Yeah.
So I think there's value in grocery delivery. Do I think Amazon now is going to work? Does it have to be 30 minutes or less? Do I think of Amazon when I think of groceries? Those I think are unanswered questions.
Sure.
I wonder if the trucks will just have a random assortment, not random, but a prioritized assortment of groceries, and they're just driving around and they're like, hey, this house needs
pantry
it.
truck.
Pull over 2 blocks.
This is the Amazon ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, is this the right city to try last mile grocery delivery?
Probably. With the rain we're having right now, I don't think anybody wants to go get their own
Right. You can
groceries.
rationalize a little bit more.
And if you could navigate this complex maze of one-way streets or two-way streets that can only have one-way traffic at a time and all the traffic here and get it still 30 minutes or less, You can do this anywhere. And if you can afford the rent here for the fulfillment centers.
This is the real trial by fire.
Yeah, you can go anywhere if you can survive Seattle.
Think we're used to being the Amazon guinea pig, I think, with all of the just walk out technology. I think it's a good city to try something new.
Yeah, well, and speaking of trying something new, they converted a former Amazon Fresh pickup store in Ballard into the site for the Amazon Now deliveries. So out of the wreckage of a former idea grows this new one.
Yeah.
So from pickup site to a delivery site. Does this shift say anything about the way people are shopping right now? This feels very pandemic origin.
Yeah, it does. I've also noticed I went to Safeway up in Queen Anne. It's a newer one. And there's, 20, 30 self-checkouts. And there was one you have to talk to a person. I go to the person almost every time because I live alone. I work from home. And I don't know. It's
Human contact.
But also it's kind of a more elite service because I don't have to bag my own groceries. So it's interesting that that's not a little more popular.
I'm a control freak. I like to check my own groceries.
Oh, no, pack it for me. I don't want to do that.
I swear, though, if you bump that little thing wrong, they're always coming over. You got to check my little video. I'm like, what is it? I'm on a hot list somewhere?
Probably.
You'd think
from
I
these
was on a
shows,
hot
I've seen
list,
you've been up
Jeff.
to trouble.
I hate when the red light goes on. They're like, this idiot needs help over here.
Yeah.
Do you trust somebody to pick your produce for you, or are you specific about stuff?
No, produce you have to see. That's hard.
Yeah. I've also gotten some bad produce delivery. People don't have the same standard that I have, I think.
You need to see if there's chemistry with you and the pair. And is this the right energy? Is this going to bring me joy?
They need
That's right.
Tinder for produce Instacart delivery. Swipe right. Yep, this person can do it for me.
This is the apple I want. Moving on to our next topic. The architecture world has lost an icon. Frank Gehry passed away at the age of 96 last Friday. He's known for his imaginative building designs like the Guggenheim Museum in Spain, the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, and right here, local in Seattle, the Museum of Pop Culture, formerly known as the Experience Music Project. Do you call it Mopop or EMP?
I call it Mopop, but I moved here after I think it changed.
I don't really refer to it as I don't talk about it. Until now.
That's the number one rule about Mopop. You don't talk about Mopop.
Everyone knows that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was here in 2000 when this thing was built, and I remember thinking it looked like the Space Needle dropped its laundry next to it. It is not hard to find mixed reviews of the building when it was first built. Seattle Times called it perplexing. The Stranger called it Paul Allen's toy box in 2000. New York Times review, the Seattle Central Library took a quick shot at Mopop, saying it looks like something that crawled out of the sea, rolled over, and died. Everybody is a critic, but it's an interesting building. Do you have a take on it, Jeff?
I mean, that person did not say that something coming out of the sea, rolling over and dying is ugly.
Like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, that could be like their beauty of art, their vision
Evolution.
of art. I think it's distinctive. I'm not a huge fan, but I do like that Seattle is distinctive. So I like that we have some ugly things.
I like it. I think it's unique. It's creative. I'm so tired of seeing the same house being copy pasted. And also, it's a music museum. Out of any of the buildings, maybe City Hall can be boring, but a music museum, this should be different, and we should talk about it. And it stands out in Seattle, so I'm here for it.
It sure does.
And it is cool to go through it with the monorail. Am I remembering?
Oh, very fun. No, that is. That's one of the best parts of the monorail.
That's pretty neat.
It is one of the best parts of that 1 mile trip that you take. Mopop says it's built to reflect the energy, movement, and fluidity of the art it exists to celebrate. No matter what you think of it, you've got to appreciate the effort it took. It is actually made up of 21,000 individually cut and shaped stainless steel painted aluminum shingles. Can you imagine the paint by number thing that they had to do to put that thing together? Holy moly,
Patience.
man.
I wonder if it's one of those things where you have an ADHD project that you start and halfway through you're like, hey, don't want to do this anymore.
Frank Gehry's buildings are pretty much universally lauded as works of genius, but Mopop is a source of debate. Do we just not get it, or did we get the one Frank Gehry building that's up for debate?
But we're better to have a place that's up for debate than Seattle.
All right. I you know what? If there's any place in the United States that could be a little different and a little sideways, Seattle.
And at least it's up for debate instead of just universally hated.
Well, Gehry was particular as well. A Vanity Fair article from 2000 delves into his creative process. Apparently, he demanded to see Paul Allen in person in his California office, refusing to do any of this by email. He went to a guitar maker in Santa Monica to buy a bunch of his old trash, That's the real vision into this design.
I didn't know that story. I loved reading about that. I think that's part of why I don't really like AI art is that I love hearing the behind the scenes. So after reading this article, I enjoy the museum a little bit more.
Yeah, context is everything sometimes. You think Mopop haters would appreciate it more if they knew a little bit of this backstory, if they realized the blood, sweat, tears, and trash that went into it?
I think they already feel the trash that went into it. That's why they hate it.
All right, moving on to our next topic. The end of the year is fast approaching, and with that, the 2026 World Cup here in Seattle. Next week, the kickoff for the first match in Seattle will be exactly 6 months away. Hard to wrap your head around that. The tournament's expected to bring in close to $1 billion and hundreds of thousands of visitors. And if you want to get in on the financial fun, Airbnb would like you to consider renting out your place to a guest. Are you thinking about getting out of town to avoid the crowds, or are you in for the World Cup here?
I want tickets badly. So if somebody could tell me how to finally get through that ridiculous FIFA lottery and also not pay $1,000 for two countries that are not traditional soccer powerhouses.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in. I'll stay.
all right, you're staying. All right. People are probably willing to pay a fortune for a place, though, to stay near Lumen Field. All right, you're in town, but would you crash on somebody's couch and rent your place out to make a couple of bucks, maybe to afford your ticket, Jeff?
Right? If I now that my wheels are turning right here, right now, can
That's
you hear
the
them?
Foster School of Business in you right there.
Yeah, rent my house, crash at a friend's apartment, send my wife and kids on a vacation, and go to soccer for free.
Yeah.
In this economy, Trish, yeah, if I could, I rent, so I don't think I can. But if I could, hell yeah, I'm doing that.
All
And I
right.
think a lot of people would.
But the problem is, I think you're going to tell us this. There's a lot of red tape to get through to do that.
There is. Airbnb did put together a step-by-step guide to renting in the Seattle area. You will need a business license tax certificate, a rental regulation and inspection ordinance, and either a short-term rental operator's license or a bed and breakfast operator's license. Seattle renters typically can't host, but people in Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, and Linwood can.
Yeah, I don't live there.
I do not live in those places. There's a lot of hoops to jump through. I wonder if it's actually even worth it to get into the short-term rental game right now. I wonder if we'll even see a big uptick in kind of shady sublets.
Under the table.
Yeah, I might be out of
definitely.
town. You might want to stop by. The key might be under the mat.
Oh, yeah.
My PayPal or Venmo account might be.
Exactly.
100%. I mean, Jeff, you probably know more about this, but I was thinking about what we were talking about earlier with the chance to save money or make money and your ease. So to make it a little easier and not do all those paperwork, to just put it on Craigslist to make some money, I think you're willing to take a little more risk. So I don't know. Last time I moved, I hired a mover from Craigslist. Was that sketchy? Maybe. Did I save money? Was it easy? Yes.
All right. There you. Well, and again, I'm from the East Coast. This is making me think about what I used to see a lot was people renting out their front lawns to put cars on as a parking lot.
Oh,
You
yes.
got a nice suburban front lawn. That's 5 cars.
We did that. I lived in Mission Beach in San Diego. We did that for like Labor Day weekend.
Totally.
We would rent out our parking spots. Yes, I've heard about that.
Yes. So I'm close to the light rail in North Seattle if anybody wants to get in touch.
Yeah.
One more piece of World Cup news. Some of Seattle's World Cup matches have themes. Team USA's match against Australia is on Juneteenth, so the local committee will take the opportunity to highlight local Black-owned businesses and arts and cultural organizations. This is a whole thing that the city is doing here. There's a lot of reasons to support the World Cup. June 26th Pride Night match was scheduled long before we knew who'd be playing in it, and now the match has become a bit of an international story due to soccer officials in both Iran and Egypt objecting to the label. Both countries are culturally conservative and have anti-gay laws on the books. Before we go any further here, important note, FIFA did not officially endorse this label. This is all local choice from Seattle's World Cup organization, but the local group says the Pride match will continue as scheduled. When the World Cup was held in Qatar in 2022, FIFA prevented team captains from wearing armbands intended to protest discrimination. You know, this one is tricky because here we are locally trying to do something and support our athletes in a way that is meaningful to our town. Was it premature to label the match before knowing who was playing in it, or should that even matter ultimately?
I'm gay, so I'll go ahead and take this one as the expert. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think so, because if we're basing that on the countries that already accept it, we're not doing what Pride is meant to do, which is it's going to make some people uncomfortable, but that's what we have to do to progress and move things forward. Like you said, Qatar in 2022, we had to follow their cultural norms. FIFA made a stance that we have to follow the hosting city's cultural norms. And guess what? Seattle's cultural norms are gay. So
Yeah,
there you go.
there you go. All right. One last thing before we go. Since we have some business and marketing experts in the house today, we're going to close the show by talking about some of the weirdest marketing to come out of the PNW in a long time. Oregon-based Columbia Sportswear has issued a challenge to the conspiracy theorists among us. If you take a picture that proves the Earth is flat, you get all the company's assets. Now, they clarify. A cliff top in Seattle, not the edge of the earth. A cul-de-sac in Kansas, or your buddy Dave legally changing his name to the Edge, also not the edge of the earth. The company adds, if you get to the edge of the earth, make sure to wear Columbia when you get there. I am getting angrier and angrier as I read this. What in the Kyrie Irving are we doing here?
I love it.
Tomfoolery.
Wait, what makes you mad about it?
It's silly. It's just too damn silly. These flat earther types, man. Why are we doing this? Why are we fanning the flame?
Oh, okay. I saw it as just genius marketing.
See, this is not the way I think. I'm taking it too seriously.
I think you're playing on something that's culturally relevant right now. I saw it on TikTok, so the video is also super well done. Somebody there knows TikTok culture and how to film it. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, I think what they're doing this is a photo contest kind of dressed up as something else. At the end of the day, it's a photo contest where I think the winner is going to get $100,000 for something super creative. And I also think about, Coca-Cola and McDonald's just put out some AI slop commercials and they're getting a lot of heat for it.
All right.
So for Columbia to come back and do this, I think it was a strong move.
I could see the earned media and I could see the interaction with people to build an affinity for the brand. But wow, this has total vibes of that Netflix documentary about getting Pepsi and the Harrier jet.
Yes.
They are going to get so many lawsuits of people saying, this is proof. I've proved it. Now prove me wrong that this isn't proof.
Right. Well, I will read just a little bit of the fine print. If you prove the earth is flat, you don't actually get the assets of Columbia. You get the assets of the company LLC, which are valued, Rachel, like you said, $100,000. They are covering their assets here. Does that mean they think there's more than a 0% chance that the earth is flat?
I don't think they think that.
Prove them wrong. That's up to you.
Yeah.
I guess I've proven that I missed the point of this entire thing. And we are going to leave it there. Rachel Horgan hosts the weekly podcast, and Jeff Shulman is the chair of marketing and international business at UW's Foster School. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks, Trish.
Appreciate you listening to the show, and thanks to our generous donors for your support. Help us out by clicking the link in the show notes and following and rating Seattle Now on your favorite podcast app. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Andy Hurst. Our production team also includes Caroline Chamberlain-Gomez, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.